I don't care who does the poll.
Yeah, don't
I don't care who the poll. Here's the thing.
It is a political cheap. If that's what the poll says, it doesn't. Of course I do.
So we're going to turn this conversation from the lives that were lost to who did the poll. I'm just telling.
Welcome back to Beyond Teacup. I'm Chastity Wedgeworth, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about what's truly at stake, not just for patients, but for the entire state of Texas if access to legal hemp is stripped away by Senate Bill 3. What would really happen to Texas if SB 3 passes? We're not just talking about banning a product, we're talking about the collapse of an entire industry, thousands of Texans losing their jobs, and a massive economic burden that will hit all of us. Let me break this down for you. If SB 3 passes, Texas hemp industry would collapse almost overnight. But what does that really mean for us as individual Texans? Well, right now, the Texas hemp industry employs around 53,000 workers, and those jobs bring in about $21 billion in wages every year. We're not just talking about a few people here. These are real jobs that are supporting real families. These workers aren't just store owners. They're bud tenders, cashiers, product specialists, inventory managers, security staff, and even cultivators and lab technicians. If SB 3 passes, these jobs vanish. And then what happens? The unemployment rate will skyrocket. If 53,000 people lose their jobs all at once, it's going to hit the unemployment system hard. Right now, the maximum weekly benefit in Texas is $552. So if everyone applied for unemployment, that would cost the state about $29 million a week. If it took a full year to get all of these people back to work, that's over $1.5 billion in unemployment benefits alone. That's not the only financial burden. Statistically in the U.S., 64% of Americans are 2 to 3 paychecks away from homelessness. This means that if these 53,000 people lose their jobs, they're going to need some support. Let me break that down for you. Food stamps. The average SNAP benefit is about $250 per month per person. Let's not even assume that any of these people have children. If all 53,000 workers qualified for SNAP benefits, that's about $13 million a month or $159 million a year. Medicaid. Medicaid costs about $5,000 per year per person. Again, we are not adding in families. So for 53,000 people, that's $265 million per year. We're not done yet. Housing assistance. If even 10% of these workers become homeless, that's around 5,300 people. Emergency shelters cost around $100 per night per person, and we're going to assume that there is room available at any of these places, and assuming that they are not with their family. So that's about $193 million a year just for emergency housing. Then there's the economic ripple effect of 53,000 people suddenly needing jobs. It's going to crash the local job market. It's going to drive wages down and create competition for every single job opening. And with more stress comes more mental health issues. These could spike and create even more pressure on the public health system. Now let's talk about the revenue side of things. The Texas hemp industry generated about $4.28 billion in revenue in 2024. Let's assume that the average ticket sale is about $50. That means around 85.65 million sales transactions occurred in the state of Texas in 2024. Let me give you some perspective. The entire state of Texas has a population of approximately 30 million people. That means that the hemp industry served about 2.85 times the entire population of Texas in 2024. That's a massive consumer base. This means that taking full spectrum hemp away doesn't just impact those 53,000 people. It impacts millions of Texans who would rely on these products for wellness and relief every single day. And then there's the tax revenue. The state collected around $267 million in sales tax alone, only from hemp retail stores. To put that in perspective, that's enough to fund public school lunches. By the way, Texas recently turned down $450 million in federal funds for low-income summer meals. Those meals could have been partially funded by hemp taxes alone. Hemp taxes could fund after-school programs. The 21st Century Community Learning Centers, or Texas ACE program, only received $74 million in federal funds. It could also fund community mental health services. The Texas allocations included $94 million for adult services and $39 million for children's services. So losing the hemp industry means losing funding like this, forcing the state to either raise taxes or cut services. If SB 3 passes, the financial burden wouldn't just hit those who lose their jobs. It's going to affect every tax-paying Texan. To sum all of this up, if SB 3 passes, we're talking about higher taxes, overloaded public assistance programs, and economic turndown that will completely impact every small business, every landlord, every restaurant, every taxpayer, and entire communities. Shutting down hemp isn't just bad policy. It's a public health crisis in the making. If SB 3 passes in its current form, thousands of businesses will close, tens of thousands of patients, many of whom don't qualify for TCUP, will lose access overnight, and Texans will turn to unregulated alternatives in out-of-state markets to survive. We risk creating an environment of confusion, criminalization, and health inequity, all in the name of clarity. Lawmakers, when you vote on SB 3, remember, this bill doesn't just regulate hemp. It destroys the lives and livelihoods of real people across Texas. This is not an underground economy. This is a regulated, tax-paying, job-creating, life-improving industry. Vote no on SB 3. Hemp is working for Texans. It's healing Texans. It's hiring Texans. Let's not undo all of that progress. Let's build on it.